So now that we have that out the way, now that we've mentioned why you need a foundation, let's talk about what a foundation is. I obviously have my subjective views on the matter, but I still work by the book, since these are principles within fitness. See, I won't say one area of the foundation is more important than the other, but I will highlight that the core muscles themselves, which was obviously going to come up in this conversation, your abs, your rectus, your deep muscles around the midsection, it's include the lower back muscles as well. These are all important in the transfer of energy towards doing anything. Without a core, you are a worse runner. Without a core, you can barely throw. Without that core, you will break the chain, essentially. Will have a break in the chain. So you could generate as much energy as you want from the floor, through your legs, all the way up towards the throw itself. But because you have a weak core, because you didn't take the time to set up your foundation in that area, you will encounter a major hiccup along the way. A major interference, in the sense that all that energy will be dissipated, will be spent trying to find an efficient way up through the core into the upper body. This applies to anything. You could be drilling a hole in the wall. You could be putting a pot on top of the cabinet, on top of the cupboard. I don't know what people call these things nowadays. Well, without that core, you will be essentially useless and using up a lot of energy to transfer energy up through the body. Think of, actually should make a video on this alone. All those people that we know that are walking around with niggles and stuff, with niggles and things, with little. I was speaking to someone a moment ago, complaining about sciatica, her nerves around the lower back, around the glute, running down the leg were giving in. And it's just some days, apparently. These are all things that have developed because, well, people want to go through life without building a solid foundation. And dare I say, everybody needs it. Everybody, no matter what you are doing, you want to live a healthy, active life, you have to essentially build an efficient foundation. Another aspect of the foundation is the global core. The global core would be those stabilizers around every joint. The anconeus around your elbow, literally every muscle that surrounds every joint. The rotator cuff muscles around your shoulder, the small muscles around your knee, the back of the knee, the ankle, the foot itself, the hands, the wrists, the neck. It's another area that people don't really bother training. These are all aspects of the global core. These global core muscles are the muscles that work the hardest when you don't have a core, when you don't have a foundation. These are the areas that simply take the hit because you don't want to build your foundation. They end up giving in when you try to do something that's near your maximal or output, that's close to or is at your maximum. So you would try to sprint as fast as you can, and because you don't have those stabilizers, you don't have the foundation, your stabilizers end up taking the hit. These are how people that are running for a while, their endurance fades, and suddenly the endurance of the stabilizing muscles the peroneus around the ankle, they start to give in. That's how easy it is for someone to, and then it becomes very easy for someone to roll their ankle. These are the linkages between the joints, and they are so important, especially, well, considering that nobody really cares about them, nobody sees them, therefore they get so little attention that people, especially young bodybuilders or youngsters that want to look better, they simply skim over it, in a sense, in the effort to make more aesthetic gains, more substantial gains that are going to be noticed by the people around them, which ends up being their downfall. Because most people, well, how often isn't it that someone will be pushing for as much as they can do on the bench press, and then out of the blue, not their chest, their shoulder gives in, and they're stuck with another injury that they don't even sort out. It's these small muscles that are so important, that are so overlooked, that should be taken care of. These muscles make sure that your journey towards perfection, that your journey towards your goals are smooth. It's just disappointing how much they are overlooked, how little they are catered to, how little they are promoted by so many people. So there's 2 points, right? The core and the global core, otherwise referred to as the stabilizers. But there is another point. A good foundation is based on strength and endurance, otherwise called the quality of a muscle. I'll probably have to make another video on that alone itself as well. Strength endurance makes it possible for you to perform exercises at your maximum. So you can't go to which is another reason I wrote off the CrossFit video, the CrossFit trend in the video that I made, because, well, you can't walk into a gym and suddenly develop this attitude where you can perform power exercises, high intensity exercises, without building the foundation in strength endurance. Strength endurance is that facet of fitness that nobody wants to consider. Nobody wants to plank for 5 minutes. Nobody wants to plank for 10 minutes. People want to run on the road for hours on end. Nobody wants to do those things. Strength, endurance, and flexibility are the most important facets of fitness when considering your foundation. Think of physiotherapy. For those of us that have been to a physio, most of the exercises are governed around strength endurance. So why not build your foundation on strength endurance as well, to prevent the need to go to a physiotherapist in the first place? So there we have it, right? The core being the first point, the global core, otherwise known as the stabilizers around the joints, being the second point. Third point, strength endurance as a facet of fitness that is necessary. And combine that with your flexibility. All of that combined will give you the foundation that is necessary. And that's what a foundation is. And I'm out. Blessings.